Hi, this is Cindy with Crafting Call by Cindy, and I've been a floral designer for many years, and I've made hundreds of these trendy and on-target Deco Mesh Wreaths. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you about my tips on how to make them quick and fun and easy. So let's get started. I always use a work wreath when I do my Deco Mesh wreaths rather than these wire wreaths that you attach the pipe cleaners to. When you use the pipe cleaners, all of your little puff outs come out evenly. When you use the work wreath, they come out separate. You can see they're placed differently around the wreath so that they intermix and intertwine and force the wreath to look more full. Now, when you get one of these, you can get them at any of the big box craft stores. I've even seen them at Walmart, and there's many places on the internet that you can get them. What you want to do is bend your branches outward and look for the spot where the two branches are equal. That's your starting point. And the reason being, that's where you're going to put your bow so that it lays flat when you're done with the wreath. So to get started, I always make mine with mesh that is the 21-inch length. And it takes about 10 foot of length around. So you want to punch it together, gather it up, and punch it down. I start on the outside. It really wouldn't matter outside, inside. I always start on the outside, and I push it down inside my little branch. You can see how I'm doing that. And I twist it tightly, 2 or 3 twists. So you can see I'm started. Now the next tip is measure, measure, measure. When you do these, the key to making them look even is to measure. Even with as many as I've made, I have a guide that I use, and I usually make mine about 12 inches long, the space between one branch to the other. So I always have a guide cut out or a yardstick, and I'm going to go to the next branch. I'm going to take my first branch, lay it at the edge, spread the Deco Mesh along so that it goes to the 12 inches. You can see how I'm doing that. And at the 12-inch mark, that's where I gather it and punch it back into the next branch. And I push it down and I twist it tightly. And I continue that process all the way around the outside of the wreath. Now, one more hint as I do one more is you want to make sure that your outer ends fold inward so that you don't have any wrong sides of your mesh sticking up, that it gathers and there's no edges and ends. So I'm going to measure it on the edge, bring it across, that's my 12 inches, and that's where I'm going to punch it in. And we'll do that one more time just so you get the idea. And measure it each time, bring it around, and push it in. Now, you're going to do that all the way around the outside of your wreath, each from branch to branch to branch, measuring your 12 inches, putting it down inside, punching it down inside the branch, and twisting it tightly. You're going to go all the way around back to your starting point. When you get to your starting point, you cut off your mesh and you start here on the inside and go all the way around one more time till you reach the center branch. So to save us some time, I'm going to finish the wreath and then we're going to go on to the next step. All right, so we've made it all the way around our wreath. And you can see each of our little humps, doing it the way I suggested, are nice and even. Now, once you get all the way around, what I want you to do is you're going to have a little bit of an extra at the end when you've cut it off from your roll. Just make sure that's even so that your bow lays nice and flat, and just cut off the edges. Now, All right, cut off your edges. One of the things that I always preach as an instructor in every class that I teach, whether it be floral design, scrapbooking, jewelry making, whatever I teach, you always want to hide your mechanisms. In other words, you want to hide what holds your project together. And in this particular case, you want to hide your little branches that you use to hold the loops together. Now, we're going to use them in a couple different ways, and they're going to become even more of a part of the wreath. But we got to get them twisted so that they are a little bit hidden. So my trick for doing that is this is where 11-inch mesh comes in place. So once again, measure, 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 and we want to cut about another foot worth of it out. And we're going to cut this several times. And I'm going to cut it like this, and you just kind of let it roll up. It's going to naturally roll up because it's on the roll. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you're going to see you just have a little piece of mesh rolled up in your hands. Skipping your starting point, because remember that's where your bow is, take one of these, put it down inside where your branch is, where you had the blue, and twist it shut. Twist it a little bit tight. You can see how I'm doing that. And then you just want to pull it apart in your hands. And as you go along, take your little humps, take your little poofs, whatever you want to call them, and spread them out to fill in the center. So you're going to do this all the way around. I've taken the time before we started filming to cut a few out so we didn't waste time on the video. I just roll it up and push it into where I have a little branch, push it down, twist it, tighten it. You can see hopefully how I'm doing that, and put your hands in and spread it apart. Now we're going to go all the way around the wreath, and what we're going to do is also have a wire cutter handy, because at one point we're going to use our wire cutters to cut these little branches off. But one more, let me show you one more. Just have it cut, and you can see they vary in width between 6 to 10 inches, maybe a foot. If they're a little bit different in size, that's good, because that gives more interest to your wreath. Roll it up, pinch it in your fingers, push it into your wreath, twist it tight, and spread it in your fingers. Last one I'll do, and then I'll do the rest of the wreath. Roll it up, pinch it in your fingers, put it into the wreath, and twist. So you can begin to see how it's beginning to hide the spaces between the humps and the puffs. So when I come back, I'm going to have all the white done around the wreath, and then I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, so I've made it all the way around the wreath with my white pieces, except for the center pieces where my bow is going to go. Now it's time to add a little bit of embellishment to it. And what I'm actually doing, if you've seen it in the background, is I'm making a patriotic and a red, white, and blue wreath. So we want to add a little bit of embellishment to it. So these are the different kinds of little picks you can get. And they have them for different holidays. So I just happened to find these for the 4th of July. And what I'm going to be doing is to make them have a little interest, you can twist them around your fingers, and it gives them a little bit of texture, so it's just not the straight things that you see when you bring them home from the store. Another thing that you can do with these embellishments is you can take your scissors, and please don't cut yourself, but you can do it just like you do curl ribbon. And what'll happen is they'll curl on the edges, and they'll come out a little bit more, and just add a little bit more texture and a little bit more motion to your project. So I have 6 of these to add in, and I'm going to do it around the wreath. And to do that, remember our little brown pipe cleaners that we had. that we held both sets of mesh to. I'm going to bend it upward a little bit. I'm going to hook it around where my pipe cleaner is. And you can see I have it hooked around. And I'm going to twist the pipe cleaner up and around the piece of embellishment. So I've got it twisted up and around to hold it in place, and just twist it back and forth a little bit. Remember, we want to do this to hide our mechanisms. So you can see how I have it standing up and twisted around in the pipe cleaner. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wire cutter. I'm going to cut off the piece of the pipe cleaner that I have here. And you'll have a little bit cut off. And last but not least, to make sure it's held in place, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of hot glue. So I'm going to do that with the hot glue. Please be very careful using hot glue. I've literally gotten third-degree burns from the hot glue. And I'm going to just hit on the top where the pipe cleaner is. Be careful not to get too much on your mesh because it could melt your mesh. But I've now got it held into place using the hot glue and the embellishment twisted in the pipe cleaner. I only have 6 of these, so I'm going to just, as my eye pleases, go around the wreath, filling in some of the spots. Where I have a pipe cleaner that doesn't get an embellishment, I'm just going to cut it off close to the base of the white mesh that I have. So let me continue and go around the wreath, attaching these embellishments, and then we'll come back with a finished product. Okay, we're back. Now, as you can see, I've gone all the way around the wreath with my 6 bendable picks. These are really important and work really well because you can use them to hide the spots where the mesh didn't necessarily fill in, or when you need to hide where the pipe cleaners were. I've cut out all the pipe cleaners, and please don't be afraid to bend them. They twist, and you can even curl them with the scissors. I think I showed you this before, but I'll show you one last time. Just very carefully, just like curl ribbon, curl it in your fingers and they'll twist up and fill in and curl up, and they look just like 4th of July fireworks going off. So bend them around. Now we have one last thing to do, and I've taken the liberty to make a bow to finish off our project. There is no right or wrong place for a bow to be on a wreath. I always, for some reason, put mine on the side, but look how it looks putting the bow on the top. You can see that there is no right or wrong. But to attach the bow, I've made my bow with pipe cleaner, chenille sticks, rather than making it with floral wire. And all I'm going to do, since the base of our wreath is wire, is just twist it in. And you can see I put the pipe cleaner around the back, and this is how nice the back looks on this wreath. And I'm literally just twisting the bow in. And when I bring it back around to the front, I can straighten him out. And here he is. So we have made a patriotic wreath together. I hope you'll have the courage now to try one, and please come visit me at craftingcallwithcindy.com. I'll be putting up many more different ideas, suggestions on everything from more floral design to paper crafting, and also some jewelry making. So I thank you for watching. Bye for now.